Okay, so let's try problem number 1 from section 1. And it says that we need to represent a relation. The first thing that you need to know is that you can represent a relation 4 different ways. And those 4 different ways are mapping diagrams, ordered pairs, a table, or a graph. So those are the 4 different ways to represent relations. So you might want to write that down in your notes. Now they got a situation here where they say the average water temperature of the Gulf of Mexico in Key West, Florida varies during the year. In January, the average water temperature is 69 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's January. Then it says in February, it's 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Then it says in March, it is 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And finally, in April, it's 78 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is an important skill, reading the information and then isolating certain pieces of information so that you can use it. So what they want us to do is put it into a mapping diagram. So in your notes, you may want to make your own little mapping diagram really quick, so that you have it so when you take the quiz. Also, when you write stuff down, it helps you to remember it. So mapping diagram, let's check it out. So we have January is 69 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, we got that. Then in the mapping diagram it says February, what's the value for that? We see February, it's 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's write that down. And then for March, it is 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And then in April, you know what it is? 78. Okay, so that's a mapping diagram. For ordered pairs, it's almost kind of like making coordinates. But in this case, it's not exactly coordinates, it's just putting the ones that are the same data together. Anyways, so basically you got January 69, February is 70, March is 75, and April is 78. Now you see each piece of data matches up with a piece of data in the mapping diagram. So it's the same information, it's just presented in a slightly different way. Now let's make a table. Table, we got January 69, February it's 70. So in the table you write down, you label it, so the X is the month and the Y is the degree Fahrenheit. And remember that X is also considered an independent. So that's an important vocab word. You might want to write that down. And the y-axis is usually for the dependent. So let's fill the rest of it out. In March we have 75 degrees. And in April, I'm sure you can guess what this is. It's 78 degrees. Now the final way to represent a relation is to graph it. So we have the temperature here on the y-axis as we have shown in our table. And then in the x-axis we have the month, which is also from our table. So all we need to do is write down the points. So let's write down the first point here. We got January is 69 degrees Fahrenheit. So if we go to January, then go up to 69 and put a little dot there. And just here's a little graphing tip. See how they have this little squiggly right here? That allows you to kind of, if your data is really big on one axis, this is called the axis. So this is the y-axis. If it's really big on one axis, you can draw that little lightning bolt squiggly, and then you can start the data at some other values. So that's a little pro tip there. So then we have, let's see, February is 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 70. March is 75. And April is 78. So again, I would pause the video and try to make these graphs and tables and mapping diagrams on ordered pairs for yourself in your own notes. Like for example, if I was making my own notes, I would draw a little graph and let's see, draw the little lightning squiggly and then have 68, 70, 72, 74, whoops, that's supposed to be a 4, and 76, and 78, and then have January, February, sorry it's kind of sloppy me drawing on the computer, March, and then we got April out here. And then just do the exact same thing on your paper. So we got January is 69. And then February is 70. March is 74. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you know. It's just, you're just practicing, you know. March is 78. So this will help you remember it and make sure that you understand it. And that's all on this problem. So now let's go on to the next video and learn the next part of this section.